Hey guys, it's Eric with the Miller Park Minute, where we're throwing strikes and getting likes, hitting dingers, and getting listeners back again with another episode. This is your only Brewers Daily podcast coming at you 5:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. We are on Rumble, YouTube, iHeartRadio, Google, Spotify, Apple, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, you name it, we are there. Every day we upload new podcasts. We team up with Bruce Fanatic. We do special episodes for them. We also have a SeatGeek code. You can use that, Miller Park Minute. Save yourself $20 off your first order with SeatGeek. You can support the channel at the Patreon, Miller Park Minutes on Patreon. If you want to get special episodes, special access, go there. There's so much going on, guys, right? Between the World Baseball Classic, the injury to Edwin Diaz, the season getting ready to kick off. We're kind of getting to that point where we're narrowing down the roster, figuring things out. So in today's episode, we are going to talk about Bally. In the first chunk here, we're gonna rehash that. There's some clarification I want to make on some comments I made yesterday. We're going to talk about the WBC, Team USA. Big deal there. We are going to go into the news. We're going to talk about today's game a little bit. And then we're going to break into the Bruce Fanatic and the rest of the news. So, that being said, let's get right into Bally. So, yesterday I spoke about Bally, Diamond, a.k.a. the bankruptcy. So, clarification for all of you. We are still able to watch games through the year. I didn't say that yesterday. I want to mention that. So anybody who's still hanging on to cable, people for these folks that refuse to move on and go to the streaming way, or if it's not on cable, I ain't gonna watch it. Well, it's still gonna be on cable. As far as we know, there's been no communication. Otherwise, Rob Manfred has just basically said that when Bally folds and goes under, MLB is ready to come in there. So at some point, there is going to be the end to the blackout, which we're all going to love. I don't think they're going to redo a distribution deal. It just doesn't. Everything I've heard and seen does not sound like they're going to be redoing distribution to where all these platforms get it. Because at the end of the day, MLB wants their money and their exclusivity rights. They're still working. YouTube is still working to get them on YouTube TV. Apple still has their exclusive games, so we're still going to see the Apple games for 2023. And there's going to be more platforms. Everybody's going to want a piece. Amazon's going to try and get in on the MLB. I mean, there's lots to come with this. It isn't over. This isn't like line in the sand. There's going to be people that pay to get these games. We're going to see just a different structure going forward. And it's going to be internet-based. So those of you who still have cable, it is going to... I mean, I subscribe to cable. I have cable, but the only reason I had cable was for Brewers games. If that's not going to be an option anymore, then we're going to go to the internet realm of doing things. That's just how it is, just how it's going to be, and that's the way the world has gone. So... that's really my 2 cents. That's what I got to say. We are still going to be able to watch it through the end of 2023 season, as far as we know. If anything changes on that, of course, I will break that news to you. I will bring that in the show. Yeah. Now, on to the WBC. So if you didn't stay up last night, and I was borderline. I was this close to falling asleep. And then I was like, no, I got to watch Team USA. So I watched. And Mike Trout provided all of the offense. Scored all the runs, which perfect. He's the captain. He's the best player on the team, arguably. And they won. They beat him. They moved on. And they also ensured a spot for Great Britain to play in the next one in 2 years. So 2 or 4 years. 2 years. So Great Britain doesn't have to requalify. They are going to be in it. So here's where we stand at this moment in the bracket, the Great Bracket Challenge. Everybody's talking about NCAA brackets. I'm talking about World Baseball Classic brackets. That's just how it is. But Japan took out Italy already in the quarterfinal matchup, moving on to the semifinals. And then Australia versus Cuba. Cuba took out Australia. So we are down to 2 teams that are in the semifinal round. Quarterfinal matchup for Team USA is Saturday, March 18th, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 a.m. Central Standard, or 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. And that is going to be Team USA versus the dreaded Venezuela team. Now, Edwin Diaz did get injured in a post-game celebration, so they're going to be out without their closer. But the Venezuela team has been very good. They proved themselves. They took out the Dominican Republic, which who would have thought, right? But yeah, so 6 o'clock on Saturday for that. And then Puerto Rico versus Mexico. Rowdy and Urias are on Mexico. Rowdy's been swinging the bat well for Mexico. So, and that one is happening tonight, Friday evening. So we're going to get to that point now where it's going to be more consistent, 1 game a day, which is really nice. And these are single elimination games. So 1 game and it's done. So we get to see who will be in this thing by Saturday night, who will be the Final Four, the real Final Four. And then those games will be played Sunday and Monday. And then Tuesday will be the final matchup in Miami, Florida. So it's getting exciting. It's getting exciting, guys. And we're seeing some unreal baseball right now. Just absolutely unreal. So if you haven't got on, get into it. Get on. Watch it. I don't need to say more about the Baseball Classic. It sells itself, guys. All right. So that being said, we did have a game today in the spring training world. The Angels beat us 3-2. 12-5 Angels, 7-10 for the Brewers. And I'm not concerned about that. Those numbers don't mean squat. Luke Voit broke up a perfecto. Yeah, that's right. The Angels pitcher, Detmer, had a perfecto going. He went 5 solid innings. He only allowed 2 hits, 1 run, which was the home run, obviously. 6 strikeouts. Just a solid outing for him. The Brewers did not broadcast this, and I tweeted this. I don't know what's going on right now. The Bally sports broadcasts that have been Brewers have typically been the other teams, and that drives me nuts because it's like you've got the people there. We know Sophia's there. We know, Rock is there. We know Jeff Levering is there. We know Bob kind of is there. They're all there. Why can't they just put a broadcast out? I mean, I think it would get listenership and viewership. Yeah, so Voit 1 for 2 with a home run, an RBI, and a run scored. The Brewers rolled out a lineup of Christian Yelich, Brian Anderson, William Contreras, Voit, Weimer, Van Meter, Perkins, Singleton, Montecero to start the game. Now, we're going to be seeing Frelick come back. Frelick did do really well in the WBC, so that's good. Rowdy is doing really well as well. Devin Williams, I forgot to mention that back in the Team USA. Devin Williams came in and had a clean inning with nothing allowed. So that's really good stuff. Just it's exciting to see because you get to root for your players and your team. So we had Lauer. Lauer did 3.1, allowed 4 hits, 2 earned runs, walked 4, struck out 2. Strzelecki came in, had a clean inning. He did 1.1, 1 1/3. Piamps did a clean inning. Perguo, another clean inning. Cousins got knocked up a little bit. 2 hits, 1 run. And Mindorf had a clean inning. Time of today's spring training game was 2 hours and 37 minutes. So that's a spring training game in a nutshell. Like I said, it's hard to spend time on it, but it was a little scary when there was a perfecto for part of the game. That kind of made me a little nervous. So this one I'm going to cover kind of outside of the news, and then we'll break into the news. Luke Voit. Luke Voit's status with the Crews up in the air. And this was written by McCalvey tonight. He did his part to give the Brewers something to think about. Voit hit a long home run, an exclamation point in his bid to make the team during the 3-2 loss to the Angels Thursday at American Family Fields of Phoenix. The veteran first baseman who signed at the start of spring training as a non-registered invitee had a clause in his contract that allowed him to elect free agency again if the Brewers did not add him to the 40-man roster by the end of the day. And that was today. Today was the deadline. I know they want me here, but obviously the teams hold their roster spots open until opening day because you don't know what can happen with injuries. Voit said there are 2 weeks left. All I'm doing is making their decision harder. We'll see what happens. If not, then that's the reason for the opt-out. We'll see if another team comes in and swoops me up. So basically, Thursday's deadline had the potential for a number of different results. Voit could be added to the 40-man roster. He could left off, opt for free agency, or he could have left off and elect to stay in camp for now. Obviously, they're a team I wanted to come to, Voit said. There's a reason I'm here instead of somewhere else. There were a number of different places I could have gone. It seemed like a good fit. So far, it's been good. But there are still 2 weeks left and a lot of decisions they have to make, me being one of them. All I can do is go out there and worry about myself and keep swinging the way I have been. Can't say it better than that. Here's counsel. I think Luke has swung the bat very well. That's what we brought him here to do, Manager Craig Counsell said. As we have gone in spring, he's kind of gotten more locked in, and that's a very good sign. He's doing what he's supposed to do. So obviously there still remains question. The roster is still the main question of all of this. We don't know who's going to go where, what we're going to do with Keston Hura, if we're going to bring in, Sal Frelick, Gus Farland. All these questionable guys are still up in the air. I have nothing to say right now at this juncture because we don't have any answers. And nobody's reporting any solid answers either. So, in the news, let's talk about the news. Vienna beef to supply the hot dog menu at the restaurant. So, yes, we are getting Vienna beef hot dogs going forward. On Thursday, Chicago-based Vienna Beef announced that it would take over as the official hot dog sponsor of the Brewers, supply the hot dogs and jumbo hot dogs. This is our news. So, yeah. Vienna Beef taking over the hot dogs. There it is. I didn't think I'd be talking about hot dogs on this podcast. Let me tell you that. We talked about Luke Voit already. I think he was the biggest piece of news, and that's why I covered it. We talked about Bally. We go round and round. Trade rumors. I like this trade rumors article. Is Keston Hura's spot in danger? Not long ago, the future looked bright for Keston Hura and the Brewers. The former number 9 overall draft pick in 2017 has been universally lauded a top 25 prospect in sport due to the high probability hit tool that overshadowed concerns about his glove work. He breezed through the minors, torching opponents in rookie ball, Class A, High A, Double A, Triple A before reaching the majors in 2019 and erupting with a 303, 368, 570 batting line 19 home runs in just 348 plate appearances at 22 years of age. However, that has not been the case. I'm just going to sum this up because this is a long article. Basically, they're saying his numbers has fallen. He doesn't have a spot, and that's the big thing here. He doesn't have a spot. He doesn't have a designated. I'm a DH. I'm a first baseman. They tried him at second, even. Tried to give him some play in the outfield. He's never really consistently played good in any position that they've put him in. And even when they used him as DH, it didn't really work out. So that's where I think he's kind of on the outs. Plus, there's a lot of decisions to be made with players that they currently have on the roster that are, how do I put this nicely? More deserving. He's out of options. Therefore, it might be time to let him go. Yeah, guys, that's Kissinger in a nutshell. So if you go over to Brewers Fanatic.com, we are down to 13 days on the countdown, ticking away. Matthew Trueblood talks about the Brewers needing, if the Brewers need a salary cap and how it would impact the team. Yeah, they basically, he's covering basically kind of things that I've talked about, but he's saying, yeah, the Players Association said no way, no how. In truth, we need to avoid oversimplifying complex issues like this one as a matter of owners and players indirect and dual confrontation. There are more constituencies to consider. The owners are far from monolithic. God, this guy uses big words. Congrats. I'm not good with that. Small and mid-market teams will always push for a cap if they have the opportunity to do so, but deep-pocket aggressive owners like Mets Steve Cohen and San Diego Padres Pete Sedler and Phillies John Middleton are much less likely to support this. I'm not going to read this whole thing to you and tell you every piece here. But I think what he's saying here, and the point to be made with the salary cap is, I don't think it's going to totally, there's already a tax threshold. I don't think that totally is the end all be all here. And I don't think it's going to stop. There's cap manipulation and stuff like that can happen. We see it in the NFL. Look at the deadlines and things going on with the NFL this week. So I don't know. I don't think there should be a cap. I think there should be a floor, and I've mentioned that many a times. The Butcher actually talked about it in his video a couple weeks back. So that's really good stuff. Again, more season preview stories, counting down your favorite players. Good stuff. The Brewers Fanatic webpage always delivers across the board. Let's just give a little quick look to MilwaukeeBrewers.com. I don't think there was a story there, but let's just double check. One of the things I do here, guys, is I read the articles, and I try to cover them and sum them up in the best in my thought process. Nope, we talked about Voit. Yep, we talked about all this. So tomorrow we're going to come back. Might be a 2-video day. I don't know. I've got some stuff that I'm working on, some different scripts and stuff like that. So, and we are still working. So the Miller Park Minute has a fantasy baseball community. And that is going to be launching. I'm going to get that going this weekend. If you'd like to participate, leave a comment, hit me on DM. I've already had a couple people reach out to me and the Butcher. Last year, we took first and second place. It was a fight to the end. So if you want to try and dethrone the Butcher, he has been unstoppable the last few years. So if you're good at fantasy baseball and you want to take the Butcher down, hit me up. We'll get you in. But that's all I got tonight, guys. That's really all I can say. All I've got. I appreciate each and every one. If you could like and subscribe and support this video, check out the platform. If you're on a different platform than this one and you use that more regularly, follow me there. I appreciate it. I'm trying to be everywhere. I might start doing some short videos of this content. We'll just see how this goes. I mean, we're playing around. We're having fun. I think people are enjoying it. So leave a like and then subscribe to the video if you feel so inclined. And thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate each and every one of you. As always, go Brewers.
Thank you for watching the Miller Park Minute. Go Brewers.